Hi, we're back. And you might see a lot of pieces on the board this time. Yeah, you do. You see a fully set up check before anyone started. This is what it looks like. The pawns on these ranks, the rooks in the corners, the knights next to them, the bishops next to them, and the queens on their colour, black queen on black square, white queen on white square, and the kings next to the queens on the side of the queen that doesn't have the bishop. Now we're going to learn about openings and controlling the centre and developing pieces and castling. It's going to be a lot, but I think you guys can handle it. You're pretty good now. So let's go with, obviously, the Queen's Gambit is going to be the first opening because of the Netflix series. So the Queen's Gambit is for what? A gambit, just so you know, is where you give away a small amount of material in the opening to get your pieces out quickly or to get your opponent's king quite weak or some other cause, some other thing. Okay, so the Queen's Gambit goes like this. Pawn here, pawn here, pawn here. That's the gambit. The gambit part is obviously that the black pawn can take this. So white's down a pawn. But the idea is quite complicated actually. Hope you can handle it. I just couldn't think of anything less complicated. Because chess is a very complicated game. And I've already taught you the basics. Even though white wants to get his pieces out and attack the king, the best move, or the most common move, or the trap move, is actually this. Even though it blocks white's bishop from getting out. Because no piece can jump. So unless black wants to lose the pawn back from white's other bishop, then black has to play that. And then white plays that. If black takes that, you're going to take that. And then you're going to take that. White's actually up a pawn. These two pawns are really weak. Down to that in a later video. And white's just winning. So you could defend it like that. But if you do, white takes, black takes, and white wins a rook. And if black defends his pawn the other way, because I guess you could go here, if you're about your strength. But if the queen goes there to defend the pawn, then something like here, and the queen is just getting kicked around, while white's pieces are developing. Like if black's queen goes there, other knight out. Black's queen goes there, your pawn advances. And the pawn is controlling the centre better, and white's bishop can get out now. The brown squared bishop. So that's not a very good move. If you defend it with your bishop, then again, this idea is really annoying. Obviously, that's the same. Here. And the last way is here. Then white's queen goes here. Most of the time, you don't want your queen out in the open. But this time, because she can get kicked around, maybe even lost or trapped. Here it's good. Because white's threatening for this pawn to take that pawn. Like, if black plays a nothing move. White takes, black takes, white wins the rook again. And the queen gets what she wanted, the rook. It's Queen's Gambit. Some people think that the Queen's Gambit is sacrificing your queen. But the biggest sacrifice you would ever do in a gambit is a knight. I know bishops are technically the same amount. I'll get on, well, you don't know that, but I'll get onto that later. Bishops are the same value as knights. But there's just no opening where no gambit where the bishop gets sacrificed, but there is a gambit where the knight gets sacrificed in some variations. And so this is the threat. Pawn takes, queen takes. And I don't see a way to stop it. Like, if you go here, so the white doesn't get the rook, then takes, well, it still gets the bishop. And the only way to stop white from taking the rook, I guess you could play, well, to stop white from taking the rook, you could play that, or that, but that's losing a knight. So the only way from here to just lose that bishop that white just took is that, so that if white takes, then black takes the queen. So yeah, white's just winning material from this position. Winning material is pieces. So that's my video on the Queen's Gambit. Hope you liked it, and goodbye. I know it was quite complicated, but you can handle it by now. You're good chess players.